Are we going to get to the point where we won't have to wear masks on airplanes?
I don't think so. I think when you're dealing with a closed space, even though the filtration is good, that you want to go that extra.
So that's infuriating, but I guess not altogether unexpected. I actually, while traveling last week, tweeted, I said, I literally thought while going through the TSA today, I bet people will tell their kids how we used to go through airports without masks, kind of like how we used to meet people at their gates to welcome them home. Brad, do you remember meeting people at their gates to welcome them home?
No, that's never happened in my memorable lifetime because 9/11 happened when I was like 5 or something.
Yeah, I have these very, very early memories of my dad traveling when I was a kid, and we would go meet him at the gate, and like they had these little games for kids that you would sit and play, like these like kind of like board games, and you'd sit and wait for your dad, and then you'd like get to go run and greet him when he came off the plane. But then after 9/11 happened, we weren't allowed to do that anymore, and we'd have to wait.
Yeah, fun's not allowed anymore.
No family
Take
love.
off your shoes, put the fun through the security machine so it can be electrified. But what's crazy to me about this, Hannah, is that like, I get it, right? Government officials are going to cling to their authority desperately, but airplanes are literally one of the safest possible places because of the super filtration system. The masks are very unnecessary, according to the people that understand this stuff. Listen to this clip from the Southwest CEO talking about why this really doesn't make any sense.
The quality of the air, it's the statistics I recall is 99.97% of airborne pathogens are captured by the HEPA filtering system, and it's turned over every 2 or 3 minutes. We use UT Southwestern and Stanford School of Medicine. But I think the case is very strong that masks don't add much, if anything, in the air cabin environment. It's very safe and very high quality compared to any other indoor setting.
We're following the science by Dr. Fauci putting masks on us forever. No, we're not. You're just a power-hungry Karen.
That's exactly right. Oh my gosh. So I've been a Southwest simp for a long time. I'm somebody who travels a lot. I travel a lot. And even right now, not as much as I used to. I used to travel like 17, 18 days a month. I love Southwest. And I'm not joking when I say they are the only airline that gives you human rights immediately. Every other airline, they make you earn status to get basic human rights. But Southwest, they like actually treat you like a full person right from the get-go. I love them. It's just so simple.
Like what?
Flying Southwest. Well, like, so for example, if I'm flying Southwest and I need to change my flight, I can just change my flight because I made a purchase and it's my purchase and I don't have to pay them $200 to change my flight. I don't have to pay for bags, which is nice, but not like it's not the end all be all for me. They just treat you well. They're nice to you. If they cancel on you or they delay your flight, they typically notify you and give you a voucher right away, reschedule you. If your flight's going to be delayed, they let you fly standby immediately. Like they just treat you well immediately, even if you're not somebody with high status. And then once you do get status, which I now have, it's clutch. You get to board the plane first. You get free wine. You have your own private lines if you need to check a bag or make a call. Like, I just like them. And I think that their employees tend to just treat people better. I've flown other airlines and literally like been delayed for hours and hours and hours, never got an apology, never got a voucher, nothing, like just left overnight in New York City. One time I was flying Delta and they kept delaying the flight and they weren't notifying people of what was going on. And these poor people who were foreign and didn't speak English came over. I guess I just looked nice and were like, can you help? We don't know what's happening. And I downloaded a translator on my phone and was like translating like North Korean and then, or like South Korean and then Chinese. And like, I became like the guide. And I was like, why is Delta? You don't have some kind of system that can translate for your passengers. You're an international airline. Like, yeah. And then when they abandoned us all, they didn't help them. They didn't know where to go. We were in New York City. So I had to set up a camp in the airport and like shepherd these people around and then get them back to our flight the next morning. It was so sad. Like, what if I hadn't been there? What would you have done? They didn't speak English. Yeah, it was horrifying. So Southwest has always been the best, but now they're like really based. I loved it when the CEO came out and said this. And listen, he's not saying anything crazy. He is actually just saying the basic science that we have known for some time and giving like an upfront estimate of what the actual calculations are for risk in the skies. But this made people furious. So we saw Jerome Adams, who's a former U.S. Surgeon General. He came out and said, these folks are making record money right now because of these mask mandates. What? I was disgusted when I heard that. Sir, They're not making record money because of that's in spite of the mask mandates, because people have to travel and get places still. What are you talking about?
If anything, I'm less likely to fly because of all the BS that's going on right now.
Same. I only travel for work. I've had so many friends that have wanted to travel internationally lately because they've just got money saved up from the pandemic now, and all of them work from home all of a sudden. So like now they want to go internet. And I'm like, no, I fly internationally for fun. I'm not flying internationally in a mask for 8 hours and not even getting champagne. Like, why would I do that? No, you're right. It's in spite of it. Well, then a couple days later, after this testimony, it came out that the CEO of Southwest got COVID, and the mainstream media is high-key giddy about it. Like, they're stoked, right? And this is how they always respond. It actually is really gross. But you see this, right? Like, anytime somebody doesn't, like, follow the narrative, anybody's not like participating in their security theater and they get COVID, they're just like cheering, like, yeah.
But even like for us, right? Elizabeth Warren and Cory Booker just both tested positive for COVID-19, even though they're fully vaccinated. But I wish them nothing but well. Like, I'm not going to gloat about that, or like, that's terrible.
It makes you a bad person. Also, pretty much everybody in DC and New York City has COVID right now. Like, go look at TikTok. It's a huge joke. Like, literally everybody in these cities has COVID. And also, literally, most people are doing just fine. But listen to these headlines. The Boston Globe said, the CEO of Southwest Airlines testified masks don't do much on planes. He's since been diagnosed with COVID. USA Today said, Southwest CEO said masks don't do much on planes at maskless Senate hearing. He tested positive for COVID the next day. CNN said, Southwest CEO tests positive for COVID-19 after testifying on masks at a Senate hearing. So, like, their point they're obviously trying to make is, like, see, he didn't wear a mask at the Senate hearing and he got COVID. Like, honestly, though, if masking actually worked, it would have prevented all of these outbreaks around these cities that have really never stopped masking. Like, all these left-wing places have still been, like, hard key on the masking thing, and it's not stopped COVID once. So you're not proving a point. Like, I don't know what they think.
I do believe that the N95 masks, there's data supporting them, but they're not the cure-all that everybody makes them out to be. And more importantly, right, like, they're going off about him getting COVID or something, but like, it's not like he got it on a plane, because A, he would have been wearing a mask if he was on a plane, because it's literally the law right now. And B, I don't think he just because he's a CEO doesn't necessarily mean he's spending a lot of time on planes. Like, they have no evidence that he got it on a plane or got it while not wearing a mask. Like, he could have gotten it anywhere, like we all are. And it's also it's just dumb. Like, it doesn't prove anything that he got COVID. He was citing scientific facts and data, and the fact that he personally got COVID from unknown sources, but we have no idea how, when, or where, it doesn't do anything to change that. They just can't handle the narrative. Like, even that interview with Jerome Adams, that was a CNN interview, I believe. They're just like, they responded to this clip of the Southwest CEO and just called it irresponsible or disgusting or reckless or whatever, but they never actually rebutted it and provided data or any arguments that made sense as to why that was untrue. So it's like, I think they just really, it's become a conformity signal at this point. I am a good person who likes masks and wears masks and wants to force others to wear masks. I'm not one of those bad Trump supporters who doesn't wear masks. It's like, really, it's very sad to me how any semblance of scientific debate has gone out the window in all of this and been replaced with yet another semantic battle over the culture war and tribalism, because we should honestly, we're misleading people if we're telling them that masks are going to keep them perfectly safe. And we're also misleading people if we tell them that they're subjugating themselves to socialist serfdom if they put on a mask when they visit their grandma, right? Like, and the fact that these basic scientific questions and security things have been subsumed by politics, and to the point where these tribal automatons on either side are just babbling incoherently, it's like really depressing to me. And all I can say is, don't take your advice from these people and don't listen to Dr. Fauci. I'm so done with Dr. Dusty Karen. His opinions on what I do in my life are just that, opinions. And opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has one and they all stink.
Well said. Yeah, I'm done with him too. I think it is an excellent point for limited government that we cannot vote this guy out. He's been wrong over and over and over again for decades on multiple issues. And now, like, he's wreaked so much havoc in the society, and yet we have no ability to in any way remove his power or authority.
The whole thing too, it proves, I don't have it up right now, but I have a poster of this Milton Friedman quote. And I'll butcher it probably, but like, there's nothing so permanent as a temporary government program. And it's like, if this whole thing, Fauci trying to tell us that masks will be required on airplanes forever, if that doesn't prove that quote perfectly, I don't know what does. Because the point is, this was supposed to be a temporary thing, 15 days to slow the spread, just wear a mask. Government officials said that if everyone just wore a mask for a month, that COVID would be over, right? They always promise us that these incursions on our lives and our liberties are just temporary, just during the emergency, just for a short period of time, and then they never are. Look at the Patriot Act and 9/11. So it's not just this one dumb thing about airplanes and Dr. Fauci. It's a lesson here. Remember this the next time we have an emergency and they tell us, just give up your liberties or a little bit of your autonomy. It's only temporary, we promise. No, it's permanent, and they're lying.
And I get so tired of people who are like, what's the big deal? They said that with the Patriot Act too. What's the big deal if you have nothing to hide? And it's like, if you can't think 5 steps ahead, could you please stop participating in politics? Because it's not that hard. If you know just basic history, you should know where this kind of thing is going to go. And it is a big deal. And if you don't stop it in the bud, exactly when it starts to happen, it's going to spread. And then not only are you going to have this program forever, but you're going to have all the ripple effects that come from it that are always negative, that are always worse than predicted. And we said that with COVID. It's one thing I actually like that Trump said when he said the response could end up being worse than the disease. And that is 100% proven to be true already. And yet here we are almost 2 years into this. And now we see this other wave coming through. And what are they doing? They're returning to the exact same things that have never worked.